And this. Hey, science seekers, this is Mr. Pfeiffer. We are interviewing some science seekers today about their Google Science projects. The goal was to find something you love, make it better with science. We were here with Emmett, one of our finalists for the GSP Top 6 Studies. So, Emmett, I'm going to go right to it because we are on limited time here. So if you can go ahead and tell me, what is it that you studied here? Can you explain exactly what it is that your project was all about? And I'm just going to click through the website as we go.
All right, so my project is a study on how tardigrades survive extreme temperatures, and I created an insulator based off of tardigrade processes using biomimicry and comparing the thermal limits of the two. This insulator, which in theory could survive extreme temperatures like a tardigrade, could help reduce deaths and injuries related to exposure to extreme temperatures.
Okay, so Emmett, when I look at this and I go into the background research, you have a summary about you and you do talk about that, and I'll put your web link in here. But what exactly is an extremophile and a tardigrade?
So what a tardigrade is, it's a type of microorganism that basically can survive extreme temperatures. And so what an extremophile is an organism that survives extreme temperatures. And that's why a tardigrade is an extremophile. It's actually two types of extremophiles. It's a thermophile, which means it can survive extreme heat, and a psychrophile, which means it can survive extreme cold.
So let's go to your experiment. Basically, can you tell me what you did?
So for my experiment, what I did is I collected 2 samples of moss, and so I let the moss absorb water, and so the water after soaking for 24 hours contained tardigrades. And so what I did is I looked inside the water using a microscope, and I picked out the tardigrades so I could experiment on them.
And so what was the situation with it? What was the experiment with the fridge and the stove here?
So what I did is I put tardigrades inside the fridge at certain temperatures, and I tested to see if they could survive the temperatures that I gave them. And I did the same for the oven. I gave them extreme heat temperatures, and I recorded data on what temperatures they could survive.
And what exactly is this little thing and this whole biomimicry? Can you explain how biomimicry comes into play with your experiment?
So what biomimicry is, it's creating something based off another living organism. And so what that is my insulator that I have created. It's based on a welding blanket and merino wool fabric, which can insulate heat like a tardigrade would. And based off of my experiment, I concluded that it indeed could match what the tardigrades survive.
So you see if this is the data, and you examined whether they lived or died with these different temperatures. And then you created the blanket with the 2 different materials of the wool and the, what was the other one? A fire blanket, right?
A welding blanket.
Welding blanket. Okay, cool. All right. So Emmett, really the biggest things that I want to ask you about now is just a couple questions. Okay. And then after those questions, we're going to say goodbye. How is this project in your experiment innovative, and how is it making the world better with science?
So what my project did is basically around 1,500 people in the US actually die of hypothermia each year. And even more prominent, severe burns cause about 10,000 deaths in the US per year. And so I thought that by looking at tardigrades and observing them to see how they survive extreme temperatures, I could create an insulator that could reduce the deaths and injuries related to hypothermia and severe burns.
Awesome. And finally, what was one struggle and one success throughout this entire journey and this process of doing science?
So a struggle that I kind of had to endure during the project is the part where I actually had to find the tardigrades. I only found 10 tardigrades over the span of a week. And it was kind of hard because I had to be very careful because there was a lot of microbial life inside the water. So it was kind of hard to pick out the tardigrades specifically. And a success I kind of had during the project is after this, the experiment went very smooth, and so I actually had a lot of success with it, and there weren't really that many struggles. And yeah, my experiment after that went very smooth, and that helped me catch up with, yeah.
I mean, a success that you found any to begin with is quite amazing. Like this little creature, this is it right here. This little guy right in the bottom of the screen, right? That's them. And I did see these on there, so I can attest you did a fantastic job here, Emmett. You should be very proud, especially as a 7th grader. We appreciate you finding something you love and making the world better with science. We hope you continue to do that throughout 8th grade and being mead made.
Thank you.
Great job, buddy.